Hello guys, this is my Alfa 75. As you may know from previous videos, this Alfa 75 suffers from problems with corrosion in the antifreeze circuit. So in order to do this job, as you may know, I will disassemble this head and I will recover all what I can recover. This is going to be a first for me, so bear with me with some things I don't know. This is a old car. Another thing that I would like to do is to, just a tip for you, I like to do a list of all the things that I have to do on my cars. This may seem stupid, but I have 4 cars, and as you can imagine, sometimes things slip by your mind. Also with all the things on your job and on your house. This is a very good and simple method not to forget anything. Sometimes things that were reachable, when the car is finished, oh, I forgot something, now I have to disassemble everything again. So I like to do this, is my method. Está melhor. Ok? Perfeito. Okay. Today we are disassembling here the intake manifold and all the pipes and hoses. We are also disassembling here the manifold for the exhaust, and we are also take off the valve cover and figure out here the timing. This has a exterior intake manifold, has another part here next to the head. I have to take out, not all at once, I cannot do that. I have to take out this first part and then take out the injector rail and then take out the interior part of the intake. And also that is good because I want to check every hose, every clamp and every pipe. I smell gasoline before, and I think there is something here that is not right. I also can see now that I have a support to hold on to this manifold. It's down here. I have 2 bolts upside down and they go on the engine mount, and I have to take that out, to take this out. So guys, as some of you may know, these heads are somewhat difficult to remove because this head uses studs instead of bolts, and between the head and the studs it creates a lot of debris, and because of that it can be difficult to remove the head. Let's see what happens. Another thing that we have to have in mind is the timing of the engine, of course. Down here we have this needle on the water pump, and we have the mark on a pulley here. We also have to see the TDC, top dead center. I will see it when I remove a spark plug. And we have to see here on this camshaft, this mark is aligned on the exhaust side, but on the intake side it's not aligned. I don't think I can find a wrench that can fit in here, but I will see with my Portuguese friends firstly. And also because this engine is missing something, it's missing compression. It only has 6 bar in each cylinder. Because of that, I think, I don't have absolutely sure, I think this ignition is off. It's not in the right spot. I don't know if you can see, but when I have my nail, I have this mark here. From what I can find, this mark here had to be between 0 and 12 degrees of the center of the rotor. It is way off. One of two things: or this is not the point here, it can be more like in here, I don't, or someone tried to get this engine running, and because of this misalignment and the lack of compression, this was the best possible spot for the ignition. It's a lot. I don't think so, but let's see. I think the lack of compression is on the intake side. I do some tests, then I hear the air escaping from the valves. And I assemble the head with the right compression and the right tuning of this camshaft here. I think this engine is gonna work badly because of this. it, guys. The head is off. I can see here, I think this burn here. It's not across. This ring appears to be a ring, it's not across. So I think it's burning water here. I know the engine was burning some water, some antifreeze. The antifreeze was also mixing with the oil. I have to clean down there. It is very bad. So in the block, I think I can clean all this out. I have to see if this height here for the cylinder, what is the tolerance between these two surfaces? Because if it is too low, I will have some big problems. I don't know also about these studs. They seem more light. In the head here, not much to see. The valves are very indicative of water consumption and oil. The head will be sent to a specialist to do the surfacing and the valves and the testing to see if it's cracked. I hope it's not cracked, we'll see. In the gasket here, I noticed between number 1 and 2, these marks here. And 3 and 4, I don't know, it's more dirty than anything. Okay, let's go from here. So here you have the machine head. This engine head is totally resurfaced. The valves, the tolerances are already tuned. Did replace these bolts here for the water. These new bolts are still available from factory. They are a lot taller than the originals. That is okay. In fact, it's better because I have a lot of threads on the head, a lot more threads to hold on the bolt, and also the original bolts are all pitted, and I was gonna have some problems here. So they do supply these bolts. It uses 1, 2, 3, 4. Another on the oil sump. I will change it as well because this part here it's all damaged. The interior. It's the same bolt used on the Alfa 33. Now here the variator. Inside here, display that it has. It was told to me that the display is almost normal. That it is the oil pressure that will take out the most of this play. I am not totally convinced yet, but I saw the interior, and in fact I did not notice any wear on the parts. But I did screw this out, and in this way I can tune my chain, my timing chain, whatever I like. That was my main worry. On the surface it's all okay. On the top side. On the sides, they usually don't clean these parts here. That is up to me. With a worn out sandpaper, I clean out all of this. Here it lies the biggest problem that I find on this head. The head was tested by pressure and heat. It is not cracked. It's perfect. But on this side here, I still have to clean out this mess. I did clean it a little bit, and I realized something. The problem with this head, in part, was on this side. What I discovered here, this intake ports, this part here works on this, right? So on this chamber here, it uses water, antifreeze. In here you have your intake. What I think happens, the gasket that it was on here was filled with RTV. I really hate the RTV in excess. The RTV was on the gasket, as you can see, but it was really too much. And pieces of this RTV was in fact around the engine cylinders on the block. Water was passing from this chamber to the intake, from here and here and here and here, and it was damaging the valve seats. And the valve seats, all 4 valve seats were equally damaged. So what I think happened was the gasket in here was bad. They did replace or not the gasket, I don't know, and they applied RTV. And I'm not saying the RTV was the problem, because I don't know. Despite that, the water still passes from here to the intake. Okay, the gasket, the head gasket, this is the new one. The old one had that marks on there and here, but I think it was a consequence of this problem here, because this problem here caused the car to the hoses to expand, to gain pressure, because if the intake valves no longer can hold the compression, that compression will escape this from the intake and will escape from this area and expand my hoses and create a situation that I think I have a problem with the head. Okay, now with the hoses expanding, the antifreeze will escape from the reservoir, and then I have air in my system, and with that air the engine will overheat. No matter how you react to this situation, you have always to try to discover what happened. I will put my new gasket on here, okay, and I will put a special, it's not a glue, it's more like honey that will fill these micro holes. It's a special glue for paper gaskets or gaskets in general, not non-metallic gaskets. But I am against RTV, I know, I told you, but on this area here, in here, there and there, maybe I will put some. Just a little film of RTV, just right here. It's very important for another thing. It is on this area here that the injectors will spread the gasoline. So if you have some RTV that is passing to this intake, it will interrupt the flow of gasoline, that fan of gasoline, and it will work very bad. Guys, I have some bad news here, really bad news. This surface here of the intake side, it's really pitted. I have a lot of holes, mainly in here. And now I know that the problem started in here. As I said earlier, I don't like to use RTV. I don't want to use RTV, but here I have no choice. I cannot resurface this part because the pits are very deep, and it will cause problems on the injection system, because the injector will be more close to the intake. It will disrupt my flow of gasoline. Now, let's step back a little bit. Why does this happen? Why am I with the engine head on this table right now? Just because one thing, antifreeze. I talk about antifreeze a lot on my channel, and I will talk about as long as I need. And I am 100% sure this problem, it's because antifreeze. The antifreeze, a good quality antifreeze, cannot be on an engine more than 2 years. I will assemble all of this. I will put some good quality antifreeze, and 2 years from now I will take out this antifreeze. I will look at it and say, oh my god, this is new. No, it's not. You cannot ever know if your antifreeze is good or not just by looking at it. If you have that strips to see if the antifreeze is good or not, okay, you can work with that. What is the problem with the antifreeze that is more than 2 years old? The properties of the antifreeze is just not to cool the engine. It's to protect the aluminium, steel and other metals on your engine, okay? And also has some lubricant properties. The problem with that chemistry is after 2 years of use, that antifreeze becomes acidic. Very, very, very acidic. In that way, problems like this start to appear. Bigger still if you use only water. The water with corrosion and the problems will start to eat out your metal. I can pass my finger here and I can feel there's a hole in there. There is an actual hole in there. Not just pitted. A hole. I'm almost sure the water passed through here directly. So the only reason this head is in here right now, it's because the antifreeze was not changed when it was supposed to. Not just 1 or 2 or 3 times. Every single time it was not changed. I am sure of it. In 30 years, you have to change this antifreeze 15 times. What is the price of 15 times to change your antifreeze? And now, what is the price of doing all this work? Which of one is cheaper? Even though I'm doing this at my home, this is more expensive to do than just replace my antifreeze 15 times. A lot more expensive. A lot more. I don't know if I will be able to seal all this. I don't know if I am able to find parts for this. Okay, please change your antifreeze. Don't judge the antifreeze by its looks. Okay, 2 years out. Whatever the quality, the brand, 2 years out. Everything, please. Hello guys, so you saw me put the head in its place, but I did not tighten the head yet, and to do so I need a torque wrench. I don't have it yet, and I thought about this pitting a lot. I thought, and I don't want to put some silicone in there. I talked to a friend of mine, and he told me put this product here, the Neural 27, but this is the 21. The difference that I find, I was not able to find the 27. I think this one, no. It says this one is really slow to cook. It takes 12 hours. In the 27, only takes 5 minutes. I really prefer this method, the 12-hour, because I have time for this. I don't want to rush this repair. I will put this product on these surfaces here, and all of this, just a fine layer to fill these holes. This is really a very big hole in here. I also will fill up this flange here. Okay, let's see how I can do this. I will take out these studs and try to do this. Guys, I am not able to take out these studs. I already tried in several of them. None of them will come out. I am afraid to strip out the threads, so I will not take out these studs. It will be good to pass this block of sandpaper directly on top of the holes, but this is not helping at all. I will try to do the best I can to put the paste in these holes, and let's see what I can do. Guys, so I apply the product here. The color of the product is a little bit darker than the aluminium, does the contrast. So it is really wet still, and I have to take that out. I think in a few minutes, in about 45 minutes, I will be able to take out the bigger stuff. So when I have to sand it, it will not be as bad. Also, I took the liberty to plug some holes that I had on the top of the head. Also, a lot of material here, but I will take as much as possible while it is still wet because the head was already resurfaced. But I think overall this product is really good. I think we have a winning combination here. I also took this flange and put a lot of material here. I think it will be very good. So I think it is a success. Let's do some unboxing here for my new parts. There are parts that are missing still, but let me show you what I've got so far. So I have a authentic fuel filter for this engine, original one. I also have a gasket kit for this engine. Not just, the kit is almost correct, but this kit is for a carburetor engine. In mine, it is an injection engine. The difference is this collector here has this small dimples right here for the injector, and this gasket kit here does not have it. Not only that, up in here it's not the same. So I'm trying to reach a proper gasket for this manifold. I am trying to do the best I can. Also, this manifold here, I already cleaned it, and it has some severe pitting in the same spots that the head has, which means the problem most likely was really, as I thought, on this part and on the head, on the gasket, and the water was passing through this intakes, causing the intake valves to fail. Thus, the lack of compression on the intake valves, or the lack of seal for the compression. So, more things. Let's put this aside. I will still need it. I have 4 intake tubes for here. The ones I had were not completely, but they were cracked. And as you can imagine, with a on the side, with the air not being measured entering from those cracks, the power of the car will not be the same. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more. The filter. I have the oil pressure switch. It comes a little bit different than the original. I had this problem with the 33, where the plug is no longer just a pin, it's really a plug. It's better this way because in this way you don't have any water contamination. I just have to replace the original pin with a plug, and that's good. The problem with my switch is bad contact. It is becoming old, 30 years. It's giving up. More things. I have some Y fitting for my cooling hoses. I can show you in another video where it goes. It goes after the water pump to the thermostat. Goes like this to the thermostat housing. I show you after. But I have more. I have a reservoir cap. This one is a little bit different. It is original, but it is different because the exit is from the top here. From factory is not like this, but I am liking this idea because if the water escapes from normally this outside part, it will wet. It will contaminate my paint job and my electric parts and whatever. And I like the idea to have a pipe to the ground. So that's nice. More. You don't want to? You have to. More things. A wheel bearing. I have to see which side. I think is the right side. Another thing you should remember. This is my steering pump bearing. Was all very difficult to find, but here it is. I also have an air filter for this particular model because there are some different ones. So as you can see, the original. There are some parts missing yet. It's really very good. This glue, or whatever it may be, this paste did some miracles. I have this tool here for measuring. It has a very sharp edge, and I use that sharp edge to take out the most of the glue. Even this morning I did that, and in that way I'm not passing with my sandpaper on the surface too much, or on this surface. It's really very good. And also this tool allows me to see if everything is straight. I still have to pass with my sandpaper, but it's awesome, really good. Finally I can see some light on the end of the tunnel. I was becoming a little bit depressed with this, but the next part is also a little bit depressing because I have to buy more parts. So the head is completely, the holes are completely filled with that product, the Neural 21, and on the side here it was the worst, all these black spots that it has. Now it's all filled up with that Neural stuff. It's very good, and it has no holes whatsoever. It has no pitting, no nothing. It's really very good. I'm happy with this. Also, on the block here, I pull up the gasket, the head gasket. It has not been crushed yet, so don't worry. In here, and on this junction, in this one, I already degreased all this, and I will add a little bit, just a smidge of silicone here, and here, just to avoid oil leaks. I am very excited to put my head on for the last time, and I have to be very careful with these O-rings here. They have to be absolutely on the right spot, there and there, here and here. Now, before you get too much carried away, we have to make sure this screw here upside down, and there is another one here upside down. I have to put this screw before I tighten my head to make sure the screw screws in, and then I can actually put my exhaust manifold. On the intake manifold, I'm still waiting for my gasket. I don't have a gasket yet for this intake. Let's wait, see and wait. Today we are working here on the timing chain. This is a very special episode, not only because it's the second to last one. This timing chain here, despite being a very old style timing chain, the principles of working of this timing chain are still being used today in many fundamental ways. For example, here on the my Alfa 156 on the 140 multi-jet engine, it uses a similar principle for the adjusting of the timing belt. Right now we are doing here a comprehensive tutorial of how and why to change yes, you can call it that, change your timing chain on your Alfa Bialbero engine. Now you have to have a diagram of some sort to see, to understand if your engine has any marks that you can put your engine on top and that center on the first cylinder. And when you do that, what precautions do you have to take? But let's start by the first things first. Firstly, you have to put your crankshaft on TDC. When it is on TDC, you have those marks here that correspond. Let me actually take this out. Correspond here to this center mark. On here, it is the same. You have that tiny mark over there, and there a mark. Now, that seems very easy, but in fact it is not, because as you are tightening your chain by your spring and the sprocket, you actually are rotating this camshaft. And Alfa thought of that in many models actually, and they have this spinning sprocket right here and in here as well. As you can see, it's very easy. So you can adjust your chain without rotating your camshafts. It is very interesting. Now, the tuning of this sprocket is not very accurate, but it's better than nothing. Now, you may think this is very familiar for you on the twin spark engines, the modern 156, 147, on all engine capacities. On the twin spark engine, not this engine, the modern twin spark engine of those cars, if you don't respect the tools for the timing to block the camshafts, and if you rely only on marks that you do on the sprockets, on the belts and whatever, when you are tightening the belt, these camshafts here rotate. They actually move a lot really, and then you have low power, the engine does not want to work, the idle is bad, it misfires, a lot of issues and fault codes. You change everything and the car is the same. You think these cars suck. No, they don't. Actually, what happens is the timing chain or the timing belt is not correct. And remember one thing. If you are doing a timing chain or belt, maybe your engine was not on point when you first started the job. Firstly, is to rotate your engine to TDC. You have that spike on the water pump, and you want to match the scratch on the pulley, the crank pulley, a little bit more, with a spike. Now, on some engines, you do have a dial here on the first cylinder to actually see where is the actual top dead center. I don't have that dial. I'm only working here with that scratch and the point on the water pump. I think is enough. If it's not, I'll correct it. But for now, let's do it this way. Now, what happens when you forgot to put your chain when you are assembling your head, the engine head? You have to fish it with a wire. It was a struggle, but it works, okay? Now, what do you want to do? The chain is complete, it's locked, it's closed, and you can do this like this, because your sprockets are loose. You can do it like this. In order to tighten the camshafts, it must be on the closest position of the engine point, on the engine marks. Because if you don't do that, if you tighten the camshafts as is, you run the risk of hitting a valve on some piston. And also on this head in particular, you run the risk of overlapping your valves and damaging your valves. Now, as you are working these nuts or bolts, you don't want to tighten everything at once. Just go slowly back and forth. In there I don't have enough pressure yet to screw on the nuts. It's a horrible day for wearing gloves. It's too moist. Okay, as soon as possible I have to put here the washers and nuts. Washer, nut. Don't forget these washers are spring washers. They are crooked. That is to be expected. Do not use any other stuff for this one. Just enough. We are almost there. Just tighten here a little bit more by hand. Pay attention to the threads on the nuts. I have there a nut that was not the specified thread. It's okay now. It was that one. Right away I will give you the torque specs for tightening this. Okay, it's all by hand. It's all okay. Excellent. Now, what do you want to do next? No, you don't want to right away put your engine to match the points or the marks of the engine. Firstly, what you want to do is to stretch the chain. And you want to stretch it with this spring over here. And this is very difficult to do with a plug, with a new washer. Very difficult to find new washer. And let's try it like this. Don't forget, the sprockets are loose, so we can adjust our matches, the points, whenever we want. I will try not to damage this, because this is all aluminium or aluminum. Okay, it's in. So now the chain is very stretched indeed. I'm sure the spring has some you have to measure the tension of the spring, but I don't have anything to measure that. I will trust on this very stiff spring. And next step, now we can match the points of the camshafts. Now, as you can see, the chain is completely tightened, stretched. I understand this is can be very scary for you guys, some of you guys, of course, because I have everything so loose. How can I be sure the engine can match the points of reference? Don't forget, this is the easiest way to do a timing chain or a timing belt. In this way, if you understand the principles of work of this system is not only used by Fiat Group or whatever. A lot of brands, Volkswagen Group, Ford, a lot of brands use this system in order to do a perfect timing on their engines. So in this way, imagine this. Your crankshaft is not exactly where you want it. You have the dial, it is not exactly where you want it. As you have these sprockets loose, you can actually rotate your crankshaft. Let me just rotate it to whatever you want. Look, the camshafts do not move. And once you are happy with the position of the crankshaft and in the camshafts, on the camshafts here, you have, on this one you don't have anything to grab to, but with a big plier, with a good plier, in the place where it doesn't matter anyway, you can rotate the crankshaft to the position over here to match the signal, the points over there and over there. And now you can tighten this one and tight this one, and magic, it's done. It's so easy, so much easier like this. Just a quick tip here. After you turn the engine 3 or 4 times, you match again the crankshaft and you see if the camshafts are okay. If they're not, you only have to lose this nut here, lose this one here, and realign the camshafts again. This is very important on the twin spark engines, the engines that I talked about earlier. That is the main difficulty on those engines. People do use the blocks for the cams, but after they rotate the engine, they do not check if the locks are fitting right. And usually they don't fit right. You have to make sure to reorganize the camshafts and tightening whatever it may be the engine, and make sure the engine, whatever the number of turns you turn the engine is always on point.